The Ranger Report. Yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go.
This is the Ranger Report podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the Texas Rangers from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter and CJ Berryman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ranger Report podcast, brought to you on the Preferred Health Solutions online studio, and of course part of the Fans First Sports Network, presented by Dallas Sports Nation. And as always, thanks to Walton's for being our longest and biggest sponsor. Walton's, thank you very much. I am Ben Dieter. You can find me on Twitter at BDieter75.
Dude, you've gotten fast at that. You've gotten a lot better with. That's awesome.
And I say the right ones.
Yeah, you got it. CJ Berryman, you can find me at CJB_RR on the Twitter.
I should just record it and play it back every week, but people would notice that I was wearing.
Yeah, because that one was
clothes.
Perfect.
That was the best one I've done.
Yeah, that was spot on, fella.
All right, and speaking of that, we've been off for a little while. We've had lots of stuff going on. We just missed our minor league one again this week, but we will get back to it next week and start ripping those mid-week minor leagues. And here's the deal with the series previews I liked so much. So the last two series, neither team had their pitchers listed before the series started, so I couldn't do a series preview.
Yeah, it was difficult. So we didn't do anything there.
Hopefully we'll be able to get back to doing those.
I'm making a job transition back to normal hours.
Yay.
But I got a promotion, so
those are always good, except for when you have to switch stuff around.
Which is it's what I'm having to do. Luckily, it should be for the final time. And your dog likes it too. So
apparently she does. She likes anything that moves.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, well, let's go ahead.
Squirrel.
Oh yeah, that exactly. All right, let's start off with the Rangers did pretty good in the first round of All-Star voting. 5 guys: Josh Young, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, and Jonah Heim all made the cut for the second round, which voting starts Monday at 11 a.m., I believe, CJ. So, I don't think all 5 are going to get in, but all 5 deserve it.
Yeah, you look at what Corey Seager's done. He's still in the league lead. He's not qualified yet. I don't believe.
No, he's not
played enough, but he still has 46 RBIs and 10 home runs.
Yeah,
those 46 RBIs. You put it into give him 20 more games that he lost.
Yeah,
how many is that?
He's at 60. Yeah, he's at 60 RBI.
Yeah, he'd be at 60 at least. Where Adolis is, and Adolis has 17 homers and 258 average. And me and Ben had talked about Adolis. The defense, we don't even. He's an excellent outfielder all around.
Yep.
We don't even have to get into that.
And of course,
hitting wise, if Adolis can get, we figured around 250.
Yeah.
Or maybe a 30 home run, maybe 30 steals, which 30 home runs is looking pretty good. Not sure on steals. He's got 6 right now, but he's hitting 258. So if he ups that average, there's more homers, more RBIs. There you go. And he's walking more. He's seeing more pitches. But Josh Young, a rookie, obviously he's having an outstanding year just as a third baseman alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, defensively, yeah.
Defensively, he's been awesome. He made a couple awesome plays this weekend.
Yeah, that is correct.
And just his whole game is the home runs, the power's there. 15. He's got 44 RBIs, hitting 274.
Yeah,
he's already one of the better third basemen in the American League.
He is. Yep.
He's going for a Gold Glove, and then obviously Corey Seager's been just tearing it up before and after injury. He's been awesome all year long. This is the Corey Seager we've wanted.
Yep.
This is the Corey Seager we wanted to have last year.
Yeah.
And here he is, and man, it's fun to watch. And then again, Marcus Semien, he's struggled a little bit lately, especially today, in big games.
Yeah.
Big game moment, and he's hitting 278 right now, so the average is dipped. Still got 10 homers and 54 RBIs, and still has 62 runs scored. So he's doing all right. He's there. He's a lock. I think he's.
Well, he was the number one. He was the number one vote getter at second.
Yeah,
but,
and I don't see that changing.
Well, all that resets, going forward in the second round. So he's no longer the number one vote getter. So hopefully that continues for him. But I mean, people have taken notice, obviously, of the Rangers this year. Even if the media doesn't talk about him, people have taken notice.
Absolutely. And Ezekiel Duran is going to be he's not going to make it this year, unfortunately.
No, but I mean, there are more that could have gotten the nod.
Yeah. And
Leote is tearing it up right now.
Leote's hitting 298 now. Yeah. And he's hit 6 home runs this month.
Yeah.
And and he stole third today. I mean, he's starting to bring the wheels into it, and he faked a bunt this weekend, which I wish he'd do a little bit more of that. Try to take advantage of his matchups and kind of the way the defense is playing him. But I can't really say anything bad about the way he's been hitting, because he's been doing awesome all year.
Then, of course, the player vote, for pitchers and stuff, Evaldi and Gray both also deserve at least a shot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. John Gray, that poor fellow. A second 1-0 loss of the season yesterday.
Yeah.
And
I know, man. I know.
It wasn't his cleanest game either. It wasn't a clean, just a one run. He threw a lot of pitches. He had to throw a lot of pitches. But when you look at the box score, you're like, man, he pitched really damn well. And he did.
Yeah, he did.
And coming off that start that his first start after having the blister and missing so much time, he picked up right where he left off before that.
He did. He sure did. So anyway, that's up to you guys now to get out there and vote. If you guys get out there and vote.
That's an obvious
one. Evaldi is an obvious one, but that's up to you guys now for the position players to get out and vote. You want to see all 5 of them at least on the team. It's up to you to get out there and vote. So we need you guys to get out there every day and vote and get these guys to the All-Star.
Jonah Heim really needs it, because Salvador Perez is overtaking him. Well, he did in the first round, but Jonah Heim needs our help, and he absolutely deserves it.
Yes, he deserved it last year.
He deserved it last year. He's hitting 283 now. He hit a bomb today. That was it wasn't a moonshot. It was a see you later, get out of here. Yeah. A piss rocket. There we go. And he killed that one. He's got 55 RBIs.
I know, man.
Right now, and he's doing. I mean, what more can Jonah Heim do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And when you look at that trade, I know Trevino had a great year last year, and we're not saying he didn't deserve what he got, but I'm thinking the Rangers are pretty happy with the catcher that they held on to right now.
Yeah, and I mean that's what happens. You wish well for the other guy too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Trevino is also doing pretty good there in a Yankees uniform.
Yeah, he is.
I'm glad we kept
like last year, but absolutely, you think all around catcher. Yeah, Rangers look like they kept the best one.
That is correct. All right, let's go on to our week in review. They played the White Sox and the Yankees this week. And one thing I think that's still glaringly obvious, EJ, is that the bullpen maybe needs some help.
Yeah, and that's just.
I mean, here's the deal.
Today,
there are guys that like Josh Sborz has been out of his mind good.
Yeah, without Josh Sborz, look at what the bullpen. Josh Sborz and Will Smith.
Yeah. Been out of their mind good. And then everyone else has been, either good or, what happened today.
Grant Anderson, you're having to ask a rookie to pitch in big spots in games, because nobody else is. Him and Sborz and Will Smith is your closer.
Yeah.
You don't want those guys pitching in big spots if you have a good bullpen, which the Rangers don't. They don't. And those guys should be pitching 6th, 7th, 8th innings. They should not be pitching in the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Nope.
Conversely, so it just they're gonna have to make some trades, and looking at some guys. St. Louis might be unloading a lot, and they got quite a few in their bullpen, and Chris Stratton, Drew Verhagen, pardon me, and Jordan Hicks. Yeah. They're free agents at the end of the year, so that's three guys right there that are possible trade possibilities, and you can get two for two in a package of one maybe.
And I think we need 2 relievers and probably a starter. And I'd like to get a starter that would last more than just this year, because DeGrom's going to be out for most of next year as well.
And the Nationals, guess who? Carl Edwards Jr., CJ Edwards. Remember him? And
I do.
Traded him and Mike Old for Matt Garza. Or I'm sorry, no, that was the Dempster trade.
Yeah.
That was the Ryan Dempster trade.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be funny if we'd have him come back to where he was originally drafted, but he's available. He's going to be available because his walk year is this year as well. He's
correct.
With the Nationals. They might be willing to part with him. That would be awesome. I would be totally happy with that for sure. And say you get an Edwards and a Jordan Hicks, your bullpen looks completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we get closer to the trade deadline, we'll hit this a lot harder.
Yes.
But we just wanted to sort of mention it tonight because it was glaringly obvious, today at least, Sunday's game against the Yankees. The bullpen is still not there.
No, it's not. And then change will come. It's going to have to in order for the Rangers to continue doing what they're doing. They've been doing this. They've been doing as well as they have with just a bullpen that hasn't been good. We knew it would.
That's
correct. Surprised the Rays bullpen started out as bad as it did.
Yeah,
but that's not going to be the case later on. They've got proven arms that they can trust. That they're not in a worry. I mean, it's scary to think of the Rays with the bullpen at full force. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really is, and that's what you want to happen with the Rangers too. And of course, the Astros are playing right now. But one thing I wanted to say during this stretch, they had that lost 6 out of 10 streak there that they've come back now, and they won 2 against the White Sox and 1 against the Yankees, so they're 3-3 in their last 6. But they're still gaining ground on the Astros and the Angels during all this because both of them are kind of scuffing a little bit like the Rangers are. Houston's 3-7 in their last 10, and LA's 4-6. So the Rangers have actually gotten up right now to 6 games with the Astros playing at the moment. So
came in as the highest lead, right?
Yeah, it still is the highest lead in all of baseball. The 6 game lead is the highest in all of baseball. It's tied with Atlanta. Sorry, Atlanta now has 6 as well. So.
Yeah,
but if the Astros lose, it'll go back to 6.5. If the Astros win, it'll go down to 5.5.
Right. So they've set themselves up for success. I mean, they've set themselves up for success. Seriously,
when the month
having
started,
that kind of a lead, and you can kind of waffle a little bit, but still be just fine. Go ahead.
And when the month started, they were, I think, 3.5 or 4 games up. So like I said, they've gained ground through. Their June hasn't been fantastic, but they've gained ground on both the Angels and the Yankees.
Yes, they have, and so when the Rangers are not playing their best, they're
Astros.
When the Rangers are not playing their best right now, they're still at 500. I mean, it's funny to say that.
Yeah,
for the previous 6 weeks, I mean, they were just killing everybody.
Yeah. But they built that huge cushion, which is what you want, and now you've got that cushion.
We would have been ecstatic for a 3-3 week.
Yeah,
the past few years.
They're 47-30 overall. You can't complain about that.
No, and again, they're 500 for the week.
Yeah,
and that you kind of feel like they're, man, it was a rough week. Well, no, I mean they long couple games on the road, and Toronto, they finished up that series, won that series actually finished it up and won on Sunday, won that series, then went and took 2 or 3 from Chicago, and then had to go to New York. They're coming back home now against a bad Detroit team. So, and
I get to cover 2 of those games. So
sweet Ranger report on location
finally. And with my back injuries and everything else that's happened, I missed 2 of the games I was supposed to cover. So I finally get to come back and cover a couple of games, which will be really nice. So, all right. Let's talk a little bit about the Yankees losses. We kind of did, but let's just highlight it one more time. The Rangers should have won 2 of those 3 games, if not 3 of them. They should have won today.
Easily.
They should have won today. They won Friday, and they had a good chance yesterday again with John Gray taking another 1-0 loss. But they left 19 men on base the last 2 games. And I mean, you knew they weren't going to hit as good as they've been hitting with men in scoring position all season. But, just 1 or 2 more hits during those games would have won both those games for the Rangers.
Well, and it's funny because it seems like each game that they lose, that's what we're talking about, is men in scoring position and not bringing in the runs when they're available. They've had, I mean, in the Yankee series, I mean, as you mentioned, left 19 on base in the past 2 days alone.
Yep.
So the opportunities are there. They just weren't cashing in on them for whatever reason. Those are opportunities that usually we're used to them doing. Yeah. And maybe it was just one of those series where, I mean, tip a cap to the Yankees bullpen because the Rangers got to the bullpen relatively early in all 3 games.
Well, Yankees bullpen. bullpen did the bend but don't break thing. They let a lot of guys on base, but they didn't let any of them get across home plate.
No, they didn't. And that was what was disappointing. And today, I think the 8th, the 9th, and the 3rd innings had a guy at 3rd.
Yeah.
And that's just not, I mean, obviously you're not going to succeed. Leaving that many guys on base, period. It's a recipe for disaster.
And again, we knew the way the season goes up and down that at some point they were going to struggle with men in scoring position, And again, we're not saying they're struggling with men in scoring position and they're getting blown out. They're still just barely losing games. So one or two more hits and they win both those games.
Yep. And that's why it's the highlight. We're highlighting their losses, and it's either and today it was both. They went 0 for 9 with men in scoring position, or I'm sorry, 1 for 9.
1 for 9.
And then they the bullpen, you
just
had the
fell
lead.
apart. Yeah.
You had the lead late in the game, and you end up giving up 3 runs and ball game.
Disappointing. All right. You can't talk about Rangers baseball this week without talking about a certain call at home plate, which involved Jonah Heim and Elvis Andrus and New York, the replay center. By the way, I've got a reel coming out about that pretty soon. So keep a check with the Instagram to see that come out. So anyway,
it was good.
Yeah, this one involves that call. So I figured, I'm trying to take insanely stupid things and use it to our advantage. That's what we do around here. So, but no, the call at home plate, and I don't care, like you said to me off air, I don't care what the rule says. It was a bad call.
Well, the way and CJ Nitkowski went nuclear, and I like that. I like that a lot. And we talked about the Yankees series and some of the calls there. CJ Nitkowski was, I mean, just straight up. He'll say it. He don't care. No. I mean, the calls that they were having in that Yankee series. I mean, it seems to be that way all the time with the Yankees. Yeah. It just does. They get the called strikes. They get the wider strike zone. It's just the nature of the beast anymore, and it sucks. But anyways, back to what we were talking about, this bullshit call. I was so mad. Number one, the play hadn't even really started at the plate. That's what they ruled the penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what they ruled the infraction on.
Correct.
Was him just I mean, he's literally standing there with his shoulders kind of slumped and his hands down. That broke the rule.
Yep.
The throw hadn't even been made.
No.
Okay, I'm 100% for let's make some adjustments and make some rules so that there's not so many nasty collisions that Bobby Wilson was involved in. Remember that one? Or to share?
I do, man. I do.
He was concussed. That was just flat, blatant asshole to share.
But I mean, it was legal back then.
It was legal at the time.
Yeah, so he didn't do anything illegal.
Those unnecessary plays like that. That's fine. I'm okay with getting rid of that.
Me too.
But the play at the plate had not even started, and they had called. That's where they said the infraction was because his pinky toes on the plate.
But they didn't. Here's the deal, though. Here's what got me. Also, that's not what they were reviewing. They were reviewing whether his hand got in before the tag or not. Right. Therefore, that shouldn't have been eligible to be reviewed anyway, even if it was illegal.
It still like wasn't even to come up with something.
It still wasn't eligible for the review. So the Rangers got screwed 2 different ways out of that deal.
Yeah, and there's no way the umpires on the field had it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so there shouldn't have even been a review about catcher infraction because the play he gave him the lane. Elvis had plenty of room to get in. Elvis had a lot of room. He had the lane on the inside of the plate in fair territory. He had that. He took that. Well, I mean, literally, it was a bang bang play. He was close to being safe. Yes, and he was real close to being safe. The review for whether he was safe or not, but I get it. It's a big point in the game. Oh yeah, definitely. Big run. Obviously, it was a big run because it was the game winning run. Yeah, but to rule nothing to tell me. Common sense, which MLB is proving a lot lately that they don't have. Tell me common sense. Tell me common sense. Was there any error, any infraction with that play at the plate? There was not. You're telling me that Jonah Heim broke the rules by having his pinky toe on the plate well beforehand. That has nothing to do with the play. It literally had nothing to do with the play at the plate. No. That's the problem. It literally had nothing to do with the play at the plate.
Nothing at all. It was before, apparently before the play at the plate. Yeah.
At all. With the player that was 90 feet away from me.
Yeah.
That's what pisses me off.
Yeah. And that's what,
like, I get the rule. I get players say, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm saying you called an infraction on a play that hadn't even happened yet.
And again, like I said, isn't even what they asked to be reviewed. They asked for the tag to be reviewed. So that'd be like in football if they said, all right, we want to review that pass interference. And then they said there was holding, 15 seconds before that.
You're finding somewhere else that an infraction
that they don't do that
instead
in football.
Of going, yes. In football, they actually have it right.
The football instant replay is great. It's fast, awesome. It's efficient, and they get it done.
And it's specific. If it's not plain as day, if you cannot see that,
I think part of it is the rule is too. Part of it is the rule is too ambiguous, and the umpires don't really know how to call it. I think that's part of it. But again, that's not what was supposed to be reviewed, and the call at the plate was correct.
Yeah, the umpire was right. The umpire didn't call the infraction. It was the dumbasses in New York who had ultra slow-mo replay that had to ultra slow-mo down and maybe, I mean, the view that we had, you can't tell that his foot
it's bad. It's bad.
That's stupid. And I don't give a damn what explanation you give per the rule. The rule shouldn't even be there in the first place.
No. I mean, all it should be is give him room to slide in.
Whenever that play starts to happen, when there's a play at the plate, the runner needs to have a lane.
Yeah, which he did. But, and even in the rule, you can block it once you have the ball.
You can. The path to the ball. I mean, you can go. Yeah. You can have the path to the ball. Yeah. And the player can actually, the base runner can still run through the catcher if he's holding the ball.
Correct. So,
but you're going to call, none of that happened. None of it. But you're going to say that Jonah Heim screwed up on something that happened before, which was standing there. Jonah Heim was standing in the wrong area whenever the damn play was gonna. Whenever everybody knew that a play at the plate was gonna happen. Yeah, way before, and Jonah Heim standing there. That's what he's in trouble. That's what got him in trouble. Bullshit. That's crap. I don't care how the rule is written. That is crap, and get it out.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if you saw this, but I might get hate for this, but did you see the balk call on Ryan Stanek for the Astros that won that game for the Dodgers?
No.
Okay, you'll need to go look it up on
today. Whenever Garrett Cole had his,
you'll need to go look it up on Twitter because it is. I mean, as much as I love the fact that the Astros lost that game, it wasn't a balk. He never started his pitching motion. What he did though is he stepped on the rubber and then stepped off, and the umpire called a balk. But he never started his pitching motion. But he lifted his leg just barely, and the umpire thought it was a balk, but I watched it about 12 or 15 times. I personally don't think it's a balk. I don't know if it is or not. I don't think it is, but it was. Ryan Stanek has never had a balk in his entire career.
Oh, that's what I.
Yeah, and he was. I mean, he was hot, and I don't blame him. They lost the game because of it. I mean, the final was 8-7 off that right there, and it's enough. I mean, that's 2 this week on calls that were very suspect. That the MLB really needs to get that fixed.
Yeah, there's just. You have to erase the ambiguity and make it clear because there's idiots, even with slow-mo replay, that are going to get shit wrong because they don't have any common sense. And that's, I mean, whether it's umpire or a dumbass up there with instant replay who can slow everything down.
Yeah.
Just make it as plain as day. The play has to be happening at the plate.
And I was actually against replay when it first came out.
I still am because they still screwed up. And these are people with slow-mo replay.
They get it wrong more
Joe
than
Blow
you think
sitting on the couch can call into the ump, say, no, he's out.
Yeah. All right. Let's
just make it harder than it's supposed to be. Yeah, I can do this all.
Anyway, what I did want to say though, I liked the next night on the home run when Jonah Heim did the.
Yeah, I loved it. I like David Murphy saying the next day, it's not something that I would have done. Of course, David Murphy was a straight-laced.
Oh, he was like the nicest guy in the world.
But he's like, yeah, not something I would have done, and a little flashy. I'm like, I loved it. Like
I did too.
Challenge.
I mean, because he wasn't showing anybody up. He was just making a statement about the bad.
Yeah, no, it wasn't showing any.
And after the game, he even said he wasn't trying to show anyone up. He was just in the moment, like, all right, challenge that.
Yeah.
So it was pretty funny. And sometimes you got to have a little attitude in baseball.
Yeah, have a little throwback on something stupid like that. That was ridiculous. That play will always be talked about.
Oh yeah, that play will always. It's like the Des Bryant catch non-catch. That play will always be talked about.
It's the same.
I actually tweeted about that. If you saw, I said Des caught it and Jonah didn't block the plate.
Didn't block the plate. And then didn't she say apparently using your glove at home plate?
Yeah, and a ball is you can't block the plate with your glove and the ball. Yeah, people had fun with that. But anyway, all right, let's move on and talk about coming up very soon is the draft. And I wanted to sort of go into it a little bit. I know you have some stuff. I brought some stuff up. The Rangers are projected to take several different people, but why don't you talk a little bit about it's coming up here pretty soon, what you think might happen for the Rangers?
It's right now it's a crapshoot, but from what I'm seeing and what I'm seeing projected and what I'm hearing, I would love if Max Clark, the outfielder from Franklin, Indiana High School, he's 18 years old. From what I'm seeing is that he is a no doubt center fielder that has the potential to be a 5-tool player.
Yeah.
Such as Josh Hamilton's of the world.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we got to disclaim this every year. This is not the NFL. They're not looking to replace Leote.
No.
There's no telling if Max Clark's ever going to make the bigs, period. You draft the best players available that you think have the highest ceiling.
Yep.
And the Rangers, everybody above the Rangers are also looking at Max Clark. There's others that see. We got Dylan Cruz, outfielder from Louisiana State. Everybody knows about Dylan Cruz.
Everyone knows about Dylan. Dylan's projected to go first. So
yeah, he's projected to go first.
Probably to the Pirate. Paul Skeens. Yep.
Paul Skeens.
Is it Skeens or Skeens? I don't know.
I think it's Skeens. I
think it's Skeens. I think.
But then you got Walker Jenkins, and everybody knows about that one too. So there's 4. I mean, the Rangers are in a good spot.
Yeah. Again,
they can.
And this will be the last time in a while that the Rangers will be in a good spot.
Yes, that's a fact,
and I'm good with that.
Yeah, no, they did it the right. They did it the right. I mean, it's turned out just fine. Last year, like they did last year, they needed to just sit there and take the best available player.
Well, I think Chris Young showed us last year that him and his team are pretty crafty at that stuff.
Yeah, and we don't know what Kumar Rocker is going to turn out to be, but you can't tell me he wasn't the best player available.
Yeah.
He was. Honestly, fastest track to.
Well, was till Tommy John, but yeah,
till he had Tommy John, but that's something you can't control.
No, and that wasn't part of in the physical. That wasn't part of
that wasn't what they were concerned about.
No, not at all. But anyway, I think.
I don't think you can find unless you find that he has a torn, ulnar collateral ligament.
Or unless there's something wrong with it, when they inspect him and he does his warm up, does his tosses and all that. But that was something that they weren't concerned at all about.
No,
but I mean, there aren't many people that are like, oh, by the way, I might need Tommy John soon. Like you don't hear that, because they don't know it until it happens.
And even then, Tommy John recovery rate's so good now. He'd miss time. It slowed down his progression.
I mean, apparently DeGrom is like hitting it hard. He really wants to be back earlier than projected.
Yeah, it sucked watching that.
But here's the deal: you got Rocker. You got Rocker that's going to be at rehabbing with DeGrom. That's not a bad thing, man. That's not a bad thing at all. So I guarantee Rocker's going to push himself if he's working with DeGrom, who's also pushing himself.
Yep, just be careful. Just take it easy.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself again, please.
Yeah, take it easy. But there's also Wyatt Langford, an outfielder from Florida.
Yep.
Kyle Teal, a catcher from Virginia. Noble Meyer. I love that name.
That is a great name.
Goes to Jesuit High School in Portland.
Yep.
He is a pitcher. So not many pitchers, if you look at it.
No, not many this year. Well, they're. I mean,
Skeens is the only one.
Everyone has him taking a position player this year in every mock draft I've looked at. So
yeah. So Noble Meyer is the second pitcher that is projected to go top 10. Then after that, you got a shortstop, Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon, and then you have the third pitcher, Chase Dollander from Tennessee. So he's got 3 years of experience from college. So he's had some grooming time there. And then Jacob Gonzalez, shortstop from Mississippi. Those are top 10. I don't think we're gonna see guy. Of course, we didn't think that the Rangers would take Kumar Rocker either last year, but I don't think one of the top 4 slides past the Rangers is what I'm saying. I'm not saying the Rangers. I'm saying the Rangers aren't going to reach back.
Yeah.
For any of these guys, I think they're in a position. Hey, we're fine with just waiting to see which one of the top 4 falls to us. I think.
Yeah, they'll get the best guy on the board at that point, in my opinion, is what they'll wind up doing.
BPA, and that's the best way to go about. Especially, I like BPA in football too.
Yeah,
take the best player available,
and that's what you should do. Even if it's not a need, you can use them for something.
Yes, and so for the Rangers, take the best player available, and I'm actually hoping that Max Clark falls to them. I would take
that would be great.
4. Yeah. I would definitely take Max Clark higher than 4 if the Rangers were up there.
All right, and then last thing I wanted to talk about before we get off tonight is the trade deadline, seeing that we were just talking about bullpen. I think they need 2 bullpen pieces and a starter. And there are a few teams that are starting to not do well that might be willing to give people up, CJ.
We just talked about the Cardinals, which is a big surprise, and they're stuck because they've got the contracts of Arenado and Goldschmidt. Yeah. So, and they're not, to be honest, they're not in a position to sell hard. You know what I mean? They've still. This has just kind of been a weird year for them.
I agree.
To be perfectly honest, and it's not been Cardinals baseball that we've been used to. So they'll sell off some pieces, and like I mentioned before, those 3 bullpen pieces that might be built or available. I see all 3 of them. I could see the Rangers making a 2 for trade. Now that's going to be a big prospect give up as well. You're going to see a lot of prospects packaged in that one.
Well, and if they get anyone worth anything, we're going to give up some guys that you don't want to give up.
Happen.
There's going to be some names you've heard us talk about, and everyone else in the Rangers organization talk about a lot that will no longer be with the Rangers.
Right, and we've probably interviewed a couple of them.
Yeah, probably so.
So
Acuna could be one on the move.
It could be Jack Biggers. It could be, just a litany of them. Zach Kent, God hope not, but
I hope not. But it could be him. I mean,
Cody Bradford is available, but to me, again, I've mentioned this before. I want to keep Cody Bradford around because that's a guy I want starting every 5th day. He might not be an ace. He might not be a number 2. He might not be a number 3. That's what Colby Lewis is for.
Yep,
Colby Lewis was excellent. I mean, I just wasn't an ace, wasn't a number 2 starter, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But
he's the all-time winningest Rangers postseason pitcher.
Yes, he was clutch. And so you look at again. We'll go back to. I'm going to go back to the Cardinals because they got 3 others. They got 3 starters as well that are hitting free agency, and one of them's got a lot of postseason experience, and we know him well. Adam Wainwright.
Yep,
who is somehow still pitching.
Yeah, I know.
He pitched well against the Rangers whenever he faced them. He doesn't have much of a fastball anymore. He was hitting 86, 87, 88. I think he hit 90 a few times whenever he was pitching against the Rangers. Then you also have Jack Flaherty and Jordan Montgomery that are available from the Cardinals as well. So the Cardinals might be in the position to unload. If they don't expect to bring any of those guys back, they might be a big trade piece.
Yeah, you're right.
A big trade partner, I should say. For the Rangers. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think Cardinals are one. There's several others I've heard talked about, but the Cardinals are definitely the big one right now. And again, we're going to have to, but if we can get those 2 bullpen pieces, and I'm not even as worried about the starter. I mean, I'd like to have one, but I'm not as worried about the starter as I'm about a couple of bullpen pieces. I think that the Rangers have a good chance. Chicago White Sox are kind of not that good. Detroit obviously is not very good, but I don't know what they're going to do. There's just so many teams out there that are with the extra wild card now that are still on the bubble. I would have said Cincinnati Reds 15 days ago, but not anymore.
But look at what they're doing now. It's amazing. And see, everybody was obviously their fans down on the
and all of a sudden, man, they rip off 12 in a row.
All of a sudden, bam, their season's different.
Yeah, so they're in first place.
We're talking about the Rangers early in the season and how people were starting to go nuclear over a couple of losses. It's like, guys, slow down. And look, the Reds are an example. Y'all, the Reds are an example, prime example, current example. So there's just a ton of things that can happen between now and the end of the season.
Correct.
The Reds could go on a 10-game losing streak.
Yep, and then sell everybody off. So
Dylan Cease is a starter. And you were talking about starters.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease, that's one. Oof, that one's going to take.
Yeah,
that would take a lot because he's still got 2 years of arbitration. 2 years of arbitration eligibility. So 2 years of control. And the White Sox, apparently, they're going to be going for a quick rebuild, not a long one. So it'd be interesting to see. And they're actually dangling Tim Anderson out there too.
Are they really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Rangers have a few shortstops if you haven't been watching.
Yeah. They have a few.
But Dylan Cease, man, that would be something.
There's definitely some out there, and the free agent market's not going to be that good next year. If you look ahead, which we'll do later in the year, but I think this is the time to grab a multi-year guy, maybe this year and next year. Yeah,
these are the guys we're talking about that might be available. Chapman, apparently the Royals have a couple.
Yeah, Chapman wouldn't be a bad one either.
He's 35. He's 35 years old now. We got to keep that in mind, but he's still striking out 14 hitters per night.
Yes, he is. He is.
And I mentioned good, Jack Flaherty, Lucas Giolot. You do it.
Yeah, say that twice.
Giolito. There we go. Another White Sox pitcher. He might be available. There's also a Rockies bullpen pitcher. I cannot remember who it was.
Yeah, but I know who you're talking about.
He was the only bright spot of their entire pitching staff, which still has an ERA over 7. But yeah, he was the only one I think from the Rockies that might be available in trades too. So there's quite a few jerks in Profar might go somewhere, which we don't need. We don't need that. It's Monty Grandal. He might be another one. Randall Grichuk, the outfielder for the Rockies. That would be a good one. Will Myers might be available again.
Yep, also like true.
Jock Peterson. He could be moving, and I was almost going to say to an AL team, DH, but everybody's got a DH. Yeah,
everyone has a DH now, so
that takes that out. But there's a lot. That's just a quick preview of maybe some guys.
And we'll get further into it as we get closer. Yeah. All right. That's the Ranger Report podcast. We got the minor league coming up this week. We should have an interview, but at least when you talk about a few promotions that happened, Evan Carter and Owen White went up to Round Rock, so we'll talk about that as well as many other things going on in the minor league system because it's been a few weeks. We got a lot to talk about. A few
guys that got moved up.
Yeah, we got guys that have been promoted and moved around and injured and all kind of stuff. And we got to talk about Elier Hernandez again because good gracious, man.
Yeah, he's not stopped.
No, and JP Martinez since he's come off the IL as well. Both those guys really tearing it up.
Yep.
So anyway,
all right.
We will do this. Yeah. Nice hat.
I got all my minor league gear, and I think I wore Hickory's last time we did it.
Yeah. I don't have Hickory or Down East, so I got to order some of that.
Down East, I'm not because they won't be Down East for long. But
that's true.
The Rangers are probably going to move them pretty quick.
Yeah, probably so.
Or not the Rangers, but
the organization. Yeah.
Yep.
Diamond Baseball Holdings.
Diamond Baseball. They'll probably going to move them.
All right, guys, have a great one, and we will do this again next week.
Salute and deuces.
Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.